Okay, we're on expressions and formula assessment, and we're going to look at some practice questions, starting with some expansion of brackets. So let's go with question 1. We're looking for 5 bracket 3x plus 4. This is part A. Okay, so the number outside the bracket multiplies the things inside the bracket. So 5 lots of 3x is 15x. And 5 lots of 4 is 20. Let's try an example B. 3 bracket 4x plus 1. So 3 lots of 4x is 12x, and 3 lots of 1 is 3. Part C, 8 bracket 5x minus 2. Well, 8 lots of 5x is 40x, and 8 lots of 2 is 16. There's a minus in the middle. Part D, 7 bracket 4x minus 5. Well, 7 lots of 4x is 28x, and 7 lots of 5 is 35, with a minus in the middle is minus 35. Part E, 9 bracket 3 minus 2x. So 9 lots of 3 is 27, and 9 lots of minus 2x is minus 18x. Part F, 2 bracket 1 plus 5x, 2 lots of 1 is 2, and 2 lots of 5x is 10x. Okay, question 2, we're looking at some factorization. Factorizing is when you put expressions back in the brackets. So let's start with 3x plus 12. So my highest common factor there is 3. 3 times what gives me 3x, that's x. 3 times what gives me 12, that's 4. Final answer, 3 bracket x plus 4, that's part A. Part B, 4x plus 20. Well, from 4 and 20 I can take 4. So 4 times what gives me 4x, that's x. And 4 times what gives me 20, that's 5. 4 bracket x plus 5. Part C, 8x minus 24. From 8 and 24 I can take 8. 8 times what gives me 8x, that's x. There's a minus in the middle. 8 times what gives me 24, and that's 3. Part D. 7x minus 35. From 7 and 35 I can take 7. 7 times what gives me 7x, that's x. There's a minus in the middle. 7 times what gives me 35, and that's 5. Okay, let's look at part A. Okay, 3a minus 9. From 3 and 9 I can take 3. 3 times what gives me 3a, that's a. 3 times what gives me 9, and that's 3, and there's a minus in the middle. 3 bracket a minus 3. Part F, 4g plus 10. Now we just need to be careful with this one. The highest common factor of 4 and 10 is not 4. If you think about the factors of 4, that's 1, 2 and 4. If you think about the factors of 10, that's 1, 2, 5 and 10. Well, the highest common factor, as you can see, is 2. So 2 times what gives me 4g, that's 2g. 2 times what gives me 10, and that's 5. Final answer, 2 bracket 2g plus 5. Okay, question G. Let's go 6a plus 14. Well, common factor from 6 and 14. Well, factors of 6 is 1, 2, 3, 6. Factors 14 is 1, 2, 7, 14. The highest common factor is 2. 2 times what gives me 6, that's 3. 2 times what gives me 6a, that's 3a. And 2 times what gives me 14, that's 7. 2 bracket 3a plus 7, question H. And we've got 8p minus 10. Okay. From 8 and 10, well, the factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, 8. And from 10 it's 1, 2, 5, 10. The highest common factor of 2. 2 times what gives me 8, that's 4. But 2 times what gives me 8p, that's 4p. There's a minus in the middle. 2 times what gives me 10 is 5. Final answer, 2 bracket 4p minus 5. Question I. Let's go for 5 minus 5x. Okay, so for 5 and 5 I can take 5. 5 times what gives me 5, that's 1. Minus in the middle. 5 times what gives me 5x, and that's x. Finally, question J. Now let's go 10 minus 25q. Well, from 10 and 25, 10, 1, 2, 5 and 10. 25, 1, 5 and 25. Highest common factor of 5. 5 times what gives me 10, that's 2. Minus in the middle. 5 times what gives me 25y, so that will be 5y. Final answer, 5 bracket 2 minus 5y. Okay, question 3. we're going to collect some like terms together. Let's start with 3x plus 5y plus 2x minus y. Okay, so put the x's together, 3x and 2x is 5x. I'll then get 5y minus y, which is 4y. Final answer is 5x plus 4y. Okay, 7a plus b plus 2a minus b plus 4a. Okay, 7a plus 2a is 9a, 9a plus 4a is 13a. I've got a plus b and a minus b which cancel out and just leaves me with 13a is the final answer. Next one, let's go for 6q plus 5r minus 8q plus 2r minus 3. Okay, so I'm going to collect together my q's, collect together my r's, and numbers will stay separate. So 6q take away 8q is minus 2q. 5r plus 2r is plus 7r, and I've got a minus 3 at the end. Final answer, minus 2q plus 7r minus 3. Okay, next one, let's go for 3g plus 5h minus 2g minus 8h. Okay, so 3g minus 2g is 1g, that can be written as g, and 5h minus 8h is minus 3h, final answer. Okay, question 4, let's go with James works in a telesales department. So he's working in sales. His weekly pay P is given by the formula 3.5h. So h is the hours worked plus 2.5 lots of the sales. So S is number of sales. Okay, so that's his weekly pay. So part A is going to be, what does he get in 1 week if he does 20 hours and makes 4 sales. So the pay is equal to 3.5 lots of the hours he works plus 2.5 lots of his sales. So it's going to be 3.5 multiplied by 20 plus 2.5 lots of the sales, which is 4. Okay, so we can throw that into the calculator, and that will give me £80. Okay, part B, let's say in 1 week he works 10 hours and makes 2 sales. Okay, so the formula holds, which is the pay is equal to 3.5 lots of the hours worked plus 2.5 lots of the sales that are made. Okay, so this time it's going to be 3.5 lots of the 10 hours plus 2.5 lots of the sales, which is 2. So we can put that in the calculator again, and that will give me £40. Okay, next week, in the 1 week, he makes 20 sales, and he does this time 35 hours. Okay, so the pay is equal to 3.5 lots of the hours worked plus 2.5 lots of the sales made. So that's 3.5 lots of 35 hours worked plus 2.5 lots of 20 sales made. So punch that in the calculator, and that will give me £172.50. Okay, next question we're going to look at is to do with patterns, and specifically patterns involving triangles and circles. Okay, so there's pattern 1. 1 triangle, 3 circles. Then we've got pattern 2. which has got 2 triangles this time, and we'll count the number of circles in a minute. And then we've got pattern 3, which has got 3 triangles, and we'll also count the circles in a minute. Okay, we're then asked to complete a table, which is going to involve number of triangles, T, and number of circles, C. Okay, we can see for one triangle there are 1, 2, 3 circles. Now be careful for 2 triangles. There's not 6 circles, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. For 3 triangles, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 circles. The table then asks me to find what's happening when there's 4 triangles, 5 triangles, and then there's a gap, and what's happening when there are 10 triangles. Okay, we can see that every time we add on a triangle, so from 1 triangle to 2 triangles, add on 1 triangle, we add on 2 circles. So it's fairly obvious then that for 4 triangles that will be 9 circles, and for 5 triangles that will be 11 circles. There's then a jump to get to 10. So there's a cleverer way than doing this than trying to make those jumps from 5 triangles to 10 triangles, and we're going to come up with a formula. Now, the rule is gotten by doing the following. Whatever I'm going up in on the bottom, I multiply the top number by that. So if I'm going up in 2's, I multiply the top number by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2, and then how do I get to 3? I need to add on 1. So the rule then is I multiply by 2 and add on 1. So let's try that again. So if you get up in 2's, which we are, that tells you to multiply the top number by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. How do you get to 3? Add on 1. Let's try it for this one. Number up top is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. How do you get to 5? Add on 1 times 2 plus 1. Let's try it one more time. Number up top is 3. How do you get to 7? Multiply it by 2 and add on 1. So the rule is that we times 2 and add on 1. Now the question's then going to ask me to write down a formula for that. So the formula involves finding circles. So to get the number of circles, you multiply the number of triangles by 2, 2 times t, and then you add on 1. And then we can shorten that down to c equals 2t plus 1. We can now use this formula to find the number of circles when there are 10 triangles. Okay, so to get the number of circles, you multiply the number of triangles by 2 and then add on 1. So if there's 10 triangles, to get the number of circles, it's 2 times 10 triangles plus 1. 2 times 20, 2 times 10 is 20 plus 1 is 21, that's 21 circles. Okay, now the next part of the question says, if there are 37 circles, then how many triangles would I have? Okay, now this question is asking us to work backwards. To get the number of circles, I get the number of triangles and I times it by 2 and then add on 1, and that will give me the number of circles. So if you've got triangles and you want circles, you times by 2 and add on 1. Now to get the number of circles, you would then work backwards. So you would take away 1 and then divide by 2. And that would give you the number of triangles, okay? So if you've got triangles and you want circles, you times by 2 and add 1. But if you've got circles and you want triangles, you work backwards, you take away 1 and you divide by 2. So it's going to be 37 take away 1 is 36. And then 36 divided by 2, which is 18. So that means that there are 18 triangles. Okay, let's try another question like that. This time we're going to look at a fence. I'm going to say that we've got a fence design like so. So these are our fence posts, and we'll say that that's the fence slats. Okay, so that's pattern 1, and then there's pattern 2, and then here is pattern 3. Okay, so we're going to complete a table which is number of posts P versus number of slats S. Okay, so if there was one post, as we can see, that would have 0 slats. Then we've got 2 posts and 1, 2, 3, 4 slats. Then we've got 3 posts and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slats. And then we've got 4 posts and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 slats. The question then asked me to find out what's going on with 5 posts, 6 posts, and then 20 posts. Okay, so we can clearly see that when you add on a post, you add on 4 slats. So it's quite easy then to say for 5 posts I'll have 16, and then for 6 posts 20. Now it's a big jump to go up to 20 posts there, so let's try and find a better way to do it. Okay, so following the same pattern as the last question, the rule to get from number of posts to number of slats, you get the number down bottom, which is +4, and that tells you to multiply the top number by 4. So 4 times 1 is 4. And then how to get to 0? You need to take away 4. Okay, so let's try that again. So you go up in 4s, tells you to multiply the top number by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. How do you get 0? Take away 4. Let's try it again. I'm going up in 4s, multiply the top number by 4. 2 times 4 is 8. How do I get to 4? Times it by 4, take away 4. Let's try it for this one. Multiply the top number by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. How do I get to 8? Take away 4, so the rule worked again. Okay, so I can now apply this rule up here. So the rule is to times by 4 and take away 4. So 20 times 4 is 80, and 80 take away 4 is 76. That's the quick way of doing it. Okay, the rule is times 4 take away 4. Let's put that now into a formula. So this is to find the number of slabs. So to get the number of slabs, you get the number of posts and you multiply it by 4 and then take away 4. We can shorten that down and that will be S equals 4P take away 4. That's the formula. Okay, so remember that what we're doing here is find the number of slats when we're given the number of posts. Now let's say the next part of the question was to turn that around then. And this time, let's say that the question said that I've got 28 slats and how many posts would I have? So instead of having the number of posts and then working out the number of slats, I'm given the number of slats and need to work out the number of posts. So rather than times 4 take away 4, the rule is now going to be to work backwards and add 4 and then divide by 4. Okay, so the rule to get from posts to slats is times 4 take away 4, but the opposite of that rule would be to work backwards and to add 4 and then divide by 4. Okay, so 28 plus 4 gives me 32. 32 divided by 4 will give me 8. So the answer then is 8 posts. Okay, next question. A travelator in a supermarket. Looks like so. So it carries customers from the bottom to the top to enter the supermarket. Now the gradient is what we're going to measure here. So a gradient, remember, is a measure of steepness. So the horizontal distance covered by the travelator is 50 metres and the vertical height is 7 metres. Okay, now to calculate gradient, which is a measure of steepness, we do the vertical distance travelled divided by the horizontal distance travelled. Okay, so that's going to be 7 divided by 50. Okay, we can put that into the calculator and that will give me 0.14. Now, part B of the question says safety regulations say that the slope of the travelator must not exceed 0.1. Does it meet safety regulations? Well, the answer with that question would be no. It does not meet safety regulations. Since 0.14 is greater than 0.1, meaning that we would have to deem that the travelator would be unsafe if it was to be built using these dimensions. Okay, we're going to now look at some circle work. So it's preparation for question 7 in the unit assessment. Okay, so we've got 2 circles. We'll say that that's circle 1, circle A rather, and circle B. So the diameter of this circle is 48 centimetres and the diameter of this circle is 64 millimetres. Okay, in both questions we're going to find the circumference of the circle and the area of the circle. So we first of all need to know the formulas. So for the circumference of a circle is pi times d. So that's pi multiplied by the diameter, which is 48. We can put that into the calculator. That will give 150.8 centimetres to 1 decimal place. So for this one, again, it's circumference equals pi times diameter. Pi times all the diameter this time is 64. Let's throw that in and we get 201.1 millimetres to 1 decimal place. Okay, we're now going to find the areas. So the formula for the area is pi times r squared. So that's pi times the radius squared. Well, if the diameter here is 48, then half that to get the radius. So that's pi times 24 squared. Punch into the calculator. And that is 1,809.6 square centimetres. Okay, for the second one, it's pi times r squared again. And that's pi times, well, the diameter this time is 64, so the radius will be 32. Pi times 32 squared, and that will give me 3,217.0 square centimetres. Okay, let's prepare for question 8. Okay, we've got a trapezium, which is like so. So we're told that these are two identical right angle triangles, and this is 10 centimetres. This bigger length here is 40 centimetres. That's 60 centimetres. And in here is 20 centimetres. And the question is asking me to find the area of the window. So we'll get identical triangles. So if this is 10 centimetres here, this will be 10 centimetres here as well. So I'll call that area 1 and area 2. So let's find area 2. So it's a triangle, half times base times height is the formula. That's a half times the base of the triangle, which as we can see is 10, multiplied by the height of the triangle, which we can see is 60. A half times 10 times 60, so 10 times 60 is 600, half that, and I get 300 square centimetres. Okay, area 1 must be the same since they're identical triangles. That'll also be 300 square centimetres, and now I need to find the area of the rectangle, which I'll call area 3. That's a rectangle. So that's length times breadth. Okay, so the length is 20, as we can see, and the breadth is 60. 30 times 60, and that will give me 1,800 square centimetres. The total area then is going to be 300 plus 300, that's the two triangles, plus 1,800, and that will be 2,400 square centimetres. Final answer. Okay, let's try another. Okay, so again, we're told that we've got identical right angle triangles. I'll say this time that this is 12 centimetres. This is 30 centimetres. And let's say that that is 40 centimetres. Okay, so identical triangles, I'll call that area 1 and area 2. Okay, and I'm also told that this bit in the middle is 16 centimetres. Okay, so let's first of all find area 2. That's a triangle, half times base times height. That's a half times the base of the triangle, which is 12, times the height of the triangle, which is 30. So that's 12 times 30, and then half my answer, and that will give me 180 square centimetres. Okay, therefore area 1 is the exact same. Since it's an identical triangle, that's also 180. So area 3 is the rectangle in the middle. That will be length times breadth, and that is a length of 16 multiplied by 30, and that will give me 480 square centimetres. Okay, total area, add them all together, 180 plus 180 plus 480. Well, that's 0, 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24, 4 down carry 2, that'll be 3, 4, 8, 840 square centimetres for the total area. Okay, we're now preparing for question 9. And we've to find the surface area of this cuboid, and the length of the cuboid is 18 centimetres, its breadth is 9 centimetres, and the height is given by 20 centimetres. Okay, so the surface area, that's as if thinking to get the amount of paint to cover all the surfaces. Now a cuboid has got 6 surfaces, so we need to find the area of each. You can see that the area of the top and the bottom, obviously they would be the same. The front and the back, they would be the same, and the sides, the right hand side and the left hand side, would also be the same. So let's start with top and bottom. Okay, so the area of the bottom, well, that's a rectangle, so that's length times breadth. Okay, and that is 18 multiplied by 9, which is 162 square centimetres. Now, if the area of the bottom is 162, that means the area of the top will also be 162 square centimetres. Okay. Now let's look at the front and back. Okay, so the area of the front, again, that's a rectangle, so it's length times breadth. This time the length of the front is 18, and the breadth of the front, as we can see, is 20. 18 times 20, and that is 360 square centimetres, which means the area of the back will also be the same, since it's identical, and that will be 300 square centimetres also. Okay, let's now look at the left and the right. So the area of the right hand side, this is the right hand face rather, so that's length times breadth again, and that's going to be 9 times 20. And 9 times 20 will give me 180, which means the left hand face will also be 180 square centimetres. Okay, so to get the total area, we just put them all together. So we've got 6 faces, the area of the top and the bottom, the front and the back, and the left and the right. So that will be 162 plus 162 plus 360 plus 360 again, plus 180 plus 180. Okay, so add them all together, and that will give a total area of 1,404 square centimetres. Final answer. Okay, let's prepare for question 10. Okay, we've got a cylinder which has got a area of 20 square centimetres for the circle on bottom. We're told that the height is 3.2 metres, and we're asked to find the volume. So it's a prism, so the volume of a prism is its cross-sectional area times the height. Okay, the cross-sectional area is 20, and we're multiplying that by the height, which is 3.2, and that will give me 64 square metres. Let's try another one. Okay, this time the height is 5.2 metres, and the cross-sectional area is given by 15 square metres. So it's a prism. A cylinder is. Volume prism is cross-sectional area times the height. That's 15 multiplied by 5.2, and that will give me 78 cubic metres. I should say that the first result as well should be cubic metres. So if it's a volume, you cube your units. Okay, we're going to prepare for question 11. Okay, the question is asking me to complete this shape so that it's got rotational symmetry of order 4. Okay, so order 4 rotational symmetry means that if you give the shape a quarter turn, it will look the same. Okay, so that would be half turn symmetry, because if I turned that shape upside down, it would look the same. But to get quarter turn symmetry, I would have to complete the 4 elements as such. That shape has now definitely got quarter turn symmetry. Okay, let's try another. And we're going to give this shape quarter turn symmetry. So there, first of all, is half turn symmetry, and then I complete it for quarter turn symmetry. Okay, next question, we're going to put a bunch of numbers, 14 to be exact, into a frequency table, and the numbers are as follows: 23, 35, 31, 42, 51, 47, 27, 29, 33, 37, 51, 47, 43 and 54. Okay, so these are scores in a game. So the first column is score, second column is tally, and the third column is frequency. Okay, we're now going to group these scores in categories of 10, starting with the 20s, 20 to 29, so that's 1, 2, 3, so that's 3 tally marks, frequency of 3, now 30 to 39, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, so that's 4 tally marks and a frequency of 4, now 40 to 49, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, frequency of 4, and 50 to 59, 1, 2, and 3, frequency of 3. Questions then asked me to find a total, so I'll add the frequencies 3, 4, 7, 11, and 14 numbers in the sample. Okay, preparing for question 13, we've got 10 people are running a 5 kilometre race, and here is the time in minutes. So 30 minutes, 19 minutes, 21 minutes, 28, 24, 31, 42, 43, 22, and finally 30 minutes. Okay, the question then asked me to find the mean time and also the range. Okay, so the mean is when you add all the numbers, all the times, and you then divide that by the amount of times that are in the sample. So 30 plus 19 plus 21 plus 28 plus 24 plus 31 plus 42 plus 43 plus 22 plus 30, and we're dividing that by 10. Okay, so put that into your calculator. Okay, so that'll be 290 divided by 10, so the mean time then is 29 minutes to run the 5k. Okay, the range is given by the gap between the slowest and the quickest runner, so you get that from the highest time, take away the lowest time. So the highest time then, as we can see, is 43 minutes. So it's 43 subtract the lowest time, the quickest time, which is 19 minutes. And that will give me 24 minutes, so the range is 24. Okay, the question then says that after a period of training for several weeks, the same runners then complete the 5k again. Their mean time this time round is 24 minutes, and the range this time is 13 minutes. Okay, so this is after a period of 6 weeks intensive training. question then says make 2 comments upon their performance. Okay, let's first of all comment on the mean. So your typical runner was running 29 minutes. Well, your typical runner is now 24 minutes. So what I would say this time is, in general, so we can't say for every single runner, but in general, the running times have improved since 24 minutes is less than 29 minutes. Okay, we're now going to comment on the range. So there was a very big range before 24 minutes. The range is now smaller, which would suggest that there's more consistency within the field of 10 runners. Okay, so what I would say this time is that the times are less spread out, and there is greater consistency with the times since 13 minutes is less than 24 minutes. Okay, we're now going to prepare for question 14. So we've got 120 pupils are asked how they travelled to school, and the options are bus, walk, or car. So from the 120 pupils, we've got 100 went by bus, 15 walked, and 5 by car. Okay, the question then asks us to draw a pie chart of this and put the appropriate angle at the centre. Okay, so remember a full turn is 360 degrees. So to find the angle for bus, well, out of the 120 pupils, 100 travel by bus. So to get that angle then, it would be the number travelled by bus divided by the total amount times 360. And if you put that into the calculator, so 100 divided by 120 multiplied by 360, that will give you an angle at the centre of 300 degrees. Okay, so that's by bus. Okay, let's repeat the process for walk. So out of the 120 pupils, 15 walked, so 15 out of the 120 walked. To get the angle at the centre, I multiply that by 360. So on the calculator, 15 divided by 120, and then multiply that by 360 will give you 45 degrees. So the angle at the centre will be 45 degrees. Let's do it for car. So out of the 120 pupils this time, 5 came by car. And then to find the angle at the centre, multiply that by 360, so it's 5 divided by 120, multiply that by 360, it will give me 15 degrees. So and then draw that in, so that's approximately 300 degrees there for bus, and then 45 degrees by walking, and finally 15 degrees by car. So I'm going to just show those amounts: 300 degrees, 45 degrees, and 15 degrees. Okay, let's now prepare for question 15. Okay, so we've got a standard dice, and we're asked that if it was randomly rolled, what is the probability that you would land on a number less than 3. Okay, so there's 6 possible outcomes. Now, how many of those outcomes are less than 3? Well, there's 2, there's 1 and 2, so that's 2 possible outcomes. So that's a 2 out of 6 chance, which is 1 out of 3. Okay, let's try on example B. This time, let's say the question is, what's the probability of roll number less than 5? So again, there is 6 possible outcomes on a dice. How many of those numbers are less than 4? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's 4 outcomes, 4 out of 6, and I can simplify that to a 2/3 chance.